5 mental health myths that could harm you. Every 60 seconds, for more teenagers tell an adult they feel worthless and are told to just think positive. Can you even imagine that? That single, dismissive sentence keeps me up at night because I used to be one of those kids. I was convinced there was something fundamentally broken about me, and for a long time, I almost believed that pushing through with a smile was the only solution. It's a dangerous lie, and it cost me years of struggling in silence. Today, we're not just talking. We are dismantling 5 of the most insidious and dangerous mental health myths still echoed at dinner tables, whispered in pediatric offices, and even, heartbreakingly, repeated inside our own heads. If you have ever found yourself wondering whether therapy is an expensive overkill, or worried that you're just being dramatic when your brain feels like it's short-circuiting, then trust me, this video is your evidence-backed permission slip. It's your official pass to stop doubting yourself and finally start the journey toward healing. We're going to dig deep, challenge assumptions, and by the end, I promise myth number 5 will surprise almost everyone watching. Quick favor, and this one really matters. If this topic resonates with you, hit that subscribe button right now. Myth 1: mental health problems are rare. Oh, how I wish this were true. I believed this myth with every fiber of my being until college. I thought I was an anomaly, a glitch in the system. My roommate, Jess, and I would compare notes on our sleepless nights and gripping panic attacks. We were convinced we were statistical unicorns, unique in our suffering. We'd whisper about our struggles, feeling utterly isolated, like we were the only 2 on campus who couldn't just handle it. Then, one Tuesday, our psych professor changed everything. He put up a single slide. 1 in 4 undergrads reports moderate to severe depression. The entire room went dead silent. You could literally hear a pin drop, because suddenly the math hit us like a ton of bricks. In a seminar of 32 students, that meant at least 8 of us, 8 people sitting right there, were suffering. Jess and I looked at each other, a silent understanding passing between us. We weren't alone. We were part of the 25%. And that's just college. Let's talk about the bigger picture. This isn't some niche issue affecting a few unlucky souls. Over 17 million US adults are grappling with major depressive disorder, and a staggering 40 million experience depression annually. Annually, that's not rare. That's widespread. And it's not just adults. Half of all lifetime mental health cases begin by age 14. Globally, a shocking 1 in 7 adolescents experiences mental health conditions. Rare? Not even close. Treating misery like it's some obscure lottery ticket keeps millions isolated. It fuels shame. Once Jess and I realized we were surrounded by others, that our experiences were valid and common, something shifted. The shame dissolved the very moment those numbers killed the myth. We both booked campus counseling within the week. That's the power of knowing you're not an exception. You're part of a shared human experience. Myth 2: kids don't get mental illness. It's just hormones. This one hits particularly close to home, and it's a myth that causes profound damage by delaying crucial care. When my cousin Maya was just 9, she started exhibiting concerning behaviors. She'd hide under tables at birthday parties, refusing to join in the fun, her face a mask of distress. Relatives would chuckle, "Oh, kids, right? Just a phase, she'll grow out of it." They'd dismiss it as shyness or a temporary mood swing, completely missing the distress signals. By the time she was 11, Maya was self-harming, desperate to cope with something she couldn't articulate. It took a perceptive pediatrician, finally, to explain the truth to her parents. Anxiety disorders can peak as early as 6 years old. 6. Can you imagine? Dismissing a child's intense anxiety as just a phase or hormones is like watching a child with a broken femur and waiting for it to self-correct. It's not going to happen. In fact, delaying care because she'll grow out of it often means those untreated childhood issues persist and worsen. Early intervention isn't just helpful. It literally changes brain architecture, laying down healthier neural pathways. Thankfully, Maya started cognitive behavioral therapy at 12. It wasn't a magic wand, but it was a lifeline. Last month, I watched her stand tall and speak at her 8th grade graduation, a confident, articulate young woman. Childhood mental health disorders are real, treatable, and absolutely not a parenting failure. They are a call for help, and we, as adults, have a responsibility to listen and act. Myth 3: therapy and meds are useless for children. This myth, I have to admit, absolutely enrages me, because it almost kept Maya's parents from saying yes to the very treatment that saved her. They were bombarded with well-meaning but ill-informed advice, whispers about drugging kids or making them dependent. It's a narrative that paints mental health interventions as harmful, when the real harm comes from inaction. Let's look at the science, because the evidence is overwhelmingly clear. Meta-analyses, which are studies of studies, consistently show that evidence-based therapies like CBT can cut anxiety symptoms in kids by 60% within just 14 weeks. Think about that, a 60% reduction in anxiety in a matter of months. And when medication is indicated, for example, fluoxetine combined with therapy, it often outperforms either option alone. This isn't guesswork. It's robust research guiding best practices. The idea that kids are just mini adults is another dangerous misconception. Their care is meticulously tailored by weight, their unique developmental stage, and even their genetics. It's not a one-size-fits-all approach. Painting all psychiatric medication as zombie pills ignores the careful pediatric dosing guidelines. Those guidelines start at fractions of milligrams, designed to be gentle and effective. The real, undeniable risk here isn't evidence-based care. It's the untreated illness that can fester, grow, and steal a child's future. We have effective tools. We owe it to our children to use them responsibly. Myth 4: bad parenting causes mental illness. I remember my aunt, Maya's mom, sobbing uncontrollably in a hospital parking lot, utterly convinced she had caused Maya's anxiety. She felt like a failure, blaming herself for every perceived misstep, every moment of impatience. This myth that mental illness is a direct result of poor parenting is a cruel and utterly unfounded burden placed on exhausted caregivers. While a nurturing, supportive home environment is crucial for well-being, it's not the sole determinant of mental health. Researchers at Harvard attribute roughly half the risk of developing mental health conditions to heritable factors, meaning genetics play a big role. But it's even more complex than that. Prenatal stress, early life trauma, and even gut microbes can shape mental health. Parents provide genes and an environment, yes, but they don't single-handedly code for depression or anxiety. Blaming mom and dad only piles immense guilt onto already overwhelmed caregivers. It's counterproductive and simply not true. Instead of finger-pointing, which serves no one, let's redirect that energy. Supportive caregivers are actually the strongest predictor of recovery once symptoms appear. So, let's focus on empowering families with education, resources, and empathy, rather than making them feel responsible for something beyond their control. Myth 5: people can snap out of it with enough willpower. Oh, if only it were that simple. If willpower alone were the cure, I would have been cured of my own obsessive-compulsive disorder at 16. I tried everything. I taped post-it notes to my mirror, affirmations screaming at me, "Just stop washing. You can control this. Be strong." Surprise, surprise. My hands still bled from constant scrubbing, and the intrusive thoughts still screamed in my head. My willpower felt like a sieve trying to hold back an ocean. This isn't about being lazy or not trying hard enough. Mental illness, at its core, hijacks the very brain circuits that regulate fundamental bodily functions like heart rate and breathing. You cannot positive think your way out of neurotransmitter dysregulation, just like you can't wish away diabetes or a broken leg. These are biological conditions with very real physiological underpinnings. It took 6 months of intensive exposure therapy, a treatment that felt terrifyingly counterintuitive at first, to finally break free. After weeks of confronting my fears, I could touch a doorknob without feeling an overwhelming urge to scrub my hands for an hour. The effort was real, the grit was necessary, but it wasn't sheer willpower that fixed me.